Billy D and Paddy T here, and we are in the middle of chatting to a, media god, essentially. Is that better than the introduction of experience?
But it's funny because I was on Good Morning Ukraine a few years back, and believe it or not, in Kiev, and the presenter said to me, "Welcome, Julian Dismore. You're a legend in our country." So I'm really pleased, Billy, that I can now, when I tell my anecdotes, which I do regale my friends and family with at great length, I can put that introduction. What was it again? TV God, was it?
Your media god, yes.
Media god, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Right. Well, I will name check you and mention that for years and years and years to come.
I said to Patrick before we recorded this, how I used to love your speeches at your son's birthday parties. I'm good friends with your son Adam, and you always used to pull out a stellar speech for about 5 minutes, which would result in, of course, Adam looking like some sort of beetroot by the end of it, and everybody else in complete stitches. So you are renowned for that.
Well, he's a lot of material when it comes to Adam, I can tell you.
That's a whole other chat. And you're a legend in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Is there a country you haven't been to? I mean, it sounds like you've been all over the world.
I have been to many, many countries, falling off Krakatoa. Normally, I've had death-defying experiences. So falling off Krakatoa was a close shave. That's Indonesia. Being bitten by a king cobra in a snake-charming village outside Bhubaneswar in Orissa State, India. That was a close-to-death experience. Being an undercover paedophile in the Philippines, exposing sex toys, hidden cameras and hidden microphones. And the hidden microphone was disguised as a pen in my pocket. And one of the prostitutes said, "Can I borrow your pen?" And if the pen had come out or the wires had come out, I would have been bumped off later that night because the sex toys industry is pretty ruthless. But luckily I had a spare pen. So my best advice to students who come my courses is always have a spare pen. But my nearest life and death experience was in Jaywick, actually, doing a series for Channel 5 about England's most deprived community, when a local who didn't like Channel 5 threatened to cut my head off and burn me alive. And I had to point out to him that that's the wrong way around. If he cut my head off, he couldn't burn me alive. So he looked at it and wandered off. I mean, I actually ended up quite good friends, me and that guy. But
oh, you shouldn't laugh about it too much, because that is serious. I mean, I was about to stop you in your tracks, Julian, because I was going to say, let's play a true or false. Have we got some examples left to play with Patrick after that?
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be good, because I personally feel, and I've told this, Billy, that I think you and Paddy are going to end up extremely famous. And I'm really, really pleased that I've got in there early so that I can tell my grandchildren that I was interviewed by you guys. And I've had the benefit of working with some very famous presenters in my time. And I just want to see, I do a true or false quiz where I ask women to use their intuition, and obviously men to use pure guesswork, because that's the way our brains work. So these statements about my career are true or false. So are you up for it, Paddy?
I am more than up for it. I love a game, so this should be good.
Okay, so these are 5 statements, and it's either true or false. It's a very binary question. Statement number 1, I went to Spain to film a voiceover record with Lorraine Kelly. I took Adam along, my son, and she very kindly, after the VO record, invited me and Adam back to her place for dinner. True or false?
I think, because I know you've worked with Lorraine Kelly, I'm going to say that's true.
It is true, and Adam got on very, very well indeed. He was about 14 or 15 with Lorraine's lovely daughter, Rosie.
Of course he did.
And I was quietly hoping there'd be some sort of showbiz romance along like Posh and Bex, and I'd get invited to the wedding. But the trouble is they lived about 500 miles apart, so it didn't get very far. But it was still a very pleasant evening. Okay, talking of romance, second statement. Earlier this year, I spent an evening cuddled up on his settee with popular daytime presenter Dom Littlewood watching Love Island.
Okay, now I have a lot of time for Dom Littlewood. I think he's brilliant. But would he watch Love Island?
I mean, that's a question that everybody asked themselves, I think. I said, would I even bother? But then as soon as you do watch it, you just get sucked in, don't you?
I,
Sorry, Paddy, you got to give me your verdict first.
I'm going to say that having got to know you throughout this chat and knowing what I know about Dom Littlewood, it's false.
Well, it's true, and it's the one
Oh.
time I've watched Love Island, and he explained to me who everybody was and whatnot. And the good news, as far as Dom Littlewood's concerned, is that according to Wikipedia, he's 5'10", and I've got
Right.
photographic evidence that I'm the same height as Dom because I stood next to him. So that means that I'm not, in fact, 5'5"3/4, as I've thought for the last 40 years. I'm, in fact, 5'10" as well, so I'm very happy about that. Are you ready for statement number 3, Pat? You're doing okay. You've got a 50% record so far, which is what an orangutan would have. So
That's his target, I think.
Okay, I want to be better than an orangutan. Let's go number 3.
All right, Vinnie Jones, association footballer from back in the day, bit of a psychopath allegedly on the pitch. According to Paul Gascoigne, anyway, who had a bit of a run-in with, and now a Hollywood movie star. Is it true or false, Paddy, that I had a high-speed car chase with Vinnie Jones up the M1?
I mean, one of these statements would make a show in itself, let alone 5 of them. Patrick, what are you thinking about that one?
I want it to be true, so I'm going to say true.
It is true. I had to get Vinnie Jones. I had to get Vinnie Jones from Sheffield United, where he played at the time, to Alton Towers. He was like 2 hours late getting into my car, and it was 4 o'clock. And he said, completely dead-eyed, as if he was about to murder me, if I'm not back here from Alton Towers by 5 o'clock, I'm going to go effing mental. And like with a time machine, I couldn't get Vinnie from Sheffield to Alton Towers in the Midlands and back again in that time scale. Anyway, he then got his own car, a Vauxhall Calibra, and motored down the M1 at about 90 to 100 miles an hour. He went straight past the Alton Towers exit. So I had to overtake him in my Renault 9T with bits flying off it and get him to turn around to go the right direction to Alton Towers. And my car never recovered from that high speed car.
But crucially, why was Vinnie Jones going to Alton Towers? Just for fun?
It was for an afternoon pilot. It was when I was filming him.
Oh, okay. He wasn't just going to, have a nice afternoon on the ride.
Oh no! It was to coach some youngsters for an afternoon TV show called Good Afternoon Britain, which never happened. It wasn't entirely my fault.
Brilliant.
Now it's Good Morning Britain.
Exactly. Well, that already existed, so it was a bit of a derivative idea anyway.
Fair enough. So what's that? Is that?
The next one is Andrew Lincoln. Are you familiar with Andrew Lincoln, guys, from The Walking Dead and Love Actually?
Oh, yeah.
So he did a voiceover record for me for a series about a vet school in Glasgow. Very nice man. And my sons, Adam and Sam, were massive Walking Dead fans. So is it true or false that Andrew Lincoln agreed to meet Adam and Sam in London, but they got lost coming from Norwich and ended up in the East End, and he very kindly waited around 2 hours for them to turn up at the studio?
Wow.
I think, and I'm only saying this because it involved a vet school and you've got a lot of animal stories, so I'm thinking you did work with him on that, so he did agree to do that, so it's true.
It is true. Very, very nice man. And one of the things I learned from Andrew was the importance of being very physical when doing voiceover. So by the end of it, he put so much effort into this read about the cows and the dogs. He was sweating buckets. And that shows total commitment to his craft, which I've already noted in you guys. And that's one of the reasons why I think you're going to make it in show business.
Well, I was
You're
going to
far
say,
too kind, far too kind.
I was going to say with that story, it doesn't surprise me that Adam, who I know very well, was 2 hours late or managed to get himself 2 hours late. I've also just seen that Andrew Lincoln is not his real name. His stage name, and for good reason, because his actual name is Andrew James Clutterbuck.
That's right. That's right. It is. And he jokes about it himself.
Oh, bless him. I mean, I don't think any of us would want Clutterbuck as a surname. So I think Lincoln's a safe bet, isn't it?
It is indeed. I've got one more for you, Paddy, if you're interested.
Okay, go on. I'm doing quite well. I think I'm on 3-1.
You're doing very, very, very well. So Shane Warne, who is a very, very famous cricketer, for anybody who's into cricket, and also is going out with Liz Hurley for a while. So anyone who's not into cricket but knows about movies will know of Liz Hurley. Shane Warne, here's a statement, true or false. He said that watching me dance was the most entertaining 15 minutes of his life. Watching me dance was the most entertaining 15 minutes of his life. True or false?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
So you were dancing for 15 minutes? Or
I can't tell you the answer to that because it might give away.
because my question was to dance for 15 minutes. That's 4 or 5 songs. That's quite
Listen, buddy, I've got to say his background that now that Michael Jackson's dead, I'm officially the best dancer in the world. I can dance for hours on end. 15 minutes is just a snapshot, a blink of an eye when it comes to my moves.
Apologies in advance, but based on that, I'm going to say false.
It is indeed false.
Hey.
He said it is the most entertaining 20 minutes of his life.
Well, now we've heard about your dancing, Julian, and we're on Zoom. I mean, I'm just thinking. You've just claimed to be the world's best dancer now that MJ has sadly passed away. Do you want to give us a quick, maybe 30 seconds right now, and me and Patrick can react, just on the radio here. And
well, what I will do for you is I did win a dance-off on the Sunset Boulevard in LA. Now, the rules of dance-off are, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, and that is if you do a dance move that your dance-off opponent cannot do, then you win the dance-off.
Okay.
Right? What I pulled out, and I'll do it for you guys now because I love you to bits, but I'm going to do the wobbly knee dance for you. The problem is that at my grand old age of 54, when I do the wobbly knee dance, I can't walk for several days afterwards. But because it's you, I'll do it.
All right.
So look, I'm triple jointed.
So here we go.
So you need to describe it to the viewers.
Yeah. So Julian's now standing up. Oh, hello. Wow. Now,
my word.
This is quite something.
Now, obviously, the guys on Sunset Boulevard couldn't do that. And they paid me
surprised.
And that means you won the dance-off with that incredible...
And
that's unlike anything I've ever seen.
That was one of the moves. And Shane Warne was so impressed by that move, amongst others, that he actually got me to dance for the team before a match against Royal Challengers Bangalore, in the hope that they would win that match, having lost the last 3 on the trot. They didn't. But world famous cricketer Sean Tate, who was a good friend of mine, said, I couldn't believe it. I was sat here with internationals from all around the cricketing world watching you do the wobble knee dance, Julian.
I mean, the IPL is massive. That is no small feat. That is like a commercially million pound industry. I mean, Julian, honestly, we need to speak to you again, because if these situations with yourself keep on happening, which they obviously do anywhere you go, you've just got a touch of magic.
I got to correct you slightly there, Billy, and that is I can tell you as a fact that it's a bit more than a multi-million, because I had an incident where I was filming where I shouldn't have been, because I was making DVDs and web videos for the Rajasthan Royals cricket team, and I was told to be audacious and film in dressing rooms, film behind the scenes and stuff. And I was filming behind the scenes in the dressing room, where you shouldn't go unless you've got fully accreditation and you're part of the Star TV Indian package. And there's a massive row, and I was told that I jeopardized a $3 billion TV contract by filming what I was filming. So that's a claim to fame, isn't it? I jeopardized a $3 billion TV contract.
I mean, that is extraordinary. $3 billion. Wow.
Yeah, that's 10 years of IPL filming rights.
And you got away with it?
Yeah, although I was told never again to film inside the ground. But 4 or 5 days later, I got a bit carried away again. The Rajasthan Royals finally won a match. And Shilpa Shetty, who was one of the owners, who won Big Brother a few years back, she was celebrating, and I started filming her with a tiny camera in the executive box. And the owner of the Rajasthan Royals leaped across 4 rows to snatch the camera off me to stop me jeopardizing this $2 billion contract. So as part of telly, you do sort of stretch the boundaries a little bit and push the envelope, and that's what I did.
Incredible.
It sounds like you're pushing all the right boundaries, Julian, because I mean, your work in the past speaks for itself. And I mean, we hope that continues in the future, despite this, this weird situation. Of course, everyone's adapting like yourself with these, the training you're doing. So just before you go, let's just tell everybody, where we can see all your amazing work on TV, and B, the quickest way to access all your online training.
That's very, very kind. So my website is www.directproductions.co.uk. The best way people can find out about the courses is through the website, or just email me. And I'm happy people to email me direct. It's Julian Dismore, Dismore, @gmail.com. If you forget my surname, just think Dismore to him that meets the eye. But yeah, it's Julian Dismore, JulianDismore @gmail.com. And I train in media skills, how to get into television, how to come across well on Zoom and Microsoft Teams, and presenting skills, amongst other things. I'm really enjoying doing it.
Excellent. And finally, what's coming up on TV at the moment, and where can we see it? Of course, we did say My Life, Danny, the Bravest Boy in the World, currently on BBC iPlayer. What else can we see?
Well, what's coming up is the series about Islington's rich and poor. Islington's amazing in London in that people who are very different in terms of their economic outlook live very close to each other. And that's fascinating. And so the series is called The Mega Council Estate Next Door. It's 2 1-hours of telly, and it goes out, we think, towards the end of August or possibly into September, between 9 and 10 on a Wednesday night. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it, guys.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Julian Dismore, you are a media god and a legend of Ukraine. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Lovely. That was awesome. Thanks so much.
What a life.